You're looking live at the Nasdaq, and it's about 60 minutes left in the session. You can see it's 12:01 here. Anyway, the Nasdaq is having trouble getting through that 50 today. This downtrending 50, it's providing a little bit of resistance, but hoping that we get through it. Actually, hope is not a strategy. I know we're going to blast through there. You can see it's just 1/10 of 1%. Right at the moment, right now at 13,618. So we'll see how it closes here. The most important time during the market is usually the first hour and the last hours where the most action is. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. This video will be a little shorter. I have a big bird to catch. And so that's why this video is going out a little early. I'm sorry I didn't post that on the pre-market report. It slipped my mind. Anyway, I want to take a look at some of the stocks here. We're going to go through the Magnificent Seven. This is Apple, and it, like the Nasdaq, is meeting with resistance at the 50, double bottom base, resistance at the 50. Microsoft is through its 50, and it's up 1% today, having a decent day. And these short-term moving averages are starting to tick up. So it looks, Microsoft looks a little better than Apple. At the moment, these things are subject to change. This is Google. This is one that I kind of like here. It made a new high today. They're above 140. So good for Google. It hit 141.11. How about that? So a new 52-week high for the Google. Meta. This one is showing strength. It's still within a base here. Man, this thing's really, it's really driven off that 50 though here in these last 4 sessions. That's a nice move today, 1.5%. You can see now it's got this consolidation. It's like a flat base pattern here. And it should, kind of go sideways or pull back to its moving average here in the next couple of sessions. But it could obviously just blast right through that 126.20 area here and start ticking higher. But Meta's another one with a new 52-week high today. Amazon is not faring as well. This one is well below its 50. And for some reason, I don't know why, but it's the laggard of this group. Tesla, I think it was flat on the session last time I checked. Yeah, it's pretty much flat today, so that's good. Flat is good. Just forming this base here. It's got that handle with the high handle, standard buy point. Pattern rec picks it up at 278.98, but it's above its moving averages. And Tesla looks pretty good. NVDA looks good to me as well. This is essentially a flat base pattern as well. And I want to see how many weeks this is. I think it's 7 weeks. Okay, that's good. 18% depth in the base. That's why it's not a flat base pattern. Flat base has to be 15% or less, but it acts the same in spirit. That's a flat base consolidation. It's above its 50. NVIDIA looks good to me. I'm just going to go through some stocks that have been on our watch list that are making new highs today. They're showing strength. I have no idea if anybody bought them. I've been talking about AKAM for a little bit because it made that bull wedge pattern as it pulled back to a moving average on light volume. Yesterday, the volume picked up, and today it's flat today. What was it yesterday? 2.3% with a 4% above average daily volume. So yeah, Akamai looks good. New high. It looks like it made a new high, then pulled back. It's at the middle of its daily range there, 36% less than the middle of its daily range, but it still looks good. CrowdStrike, those cybersecurity stocks, all making new highs today. This one had this long base. It was on our list. I took it off because it's getting extended from that 10 at 7.3% above its 10 EMA. So it should go sideways or pull back, but these things are going to do what they want to do, and it could definitely just run to 200. CrowdStrike looks good. Zscaler, another one of these, just making a new high today. Just broke out of this consolidation, moving higher. Palo Alto Networks was on our ready list, and it's still going to be on our ready list, even though it's making new highs there at 258. The Palo Alto looks good. It's in the middle of its daily range, I believe. Yes. 48% of its daily range. So Palo Alto is good. And then QLYS. I did not put this one on our ready list, but you could see this weekly chart. This one looks good. It bounced off that 10-week line. And you can see it show up here a couple weeks ago. There's your bounce off it didn't pull back to the 50. That's why the 50 is different than the 10-week. Not by much, but a little bit. Who else do I have here? Who else do I want to look at? I know. The computer software design stocks are doing well too. This is Synopsys. Had this consolidation, flat base, and now it's moving out of it. The one that I did have on our list was Cadence, which is a little bit behind Synopsys. I think it'll follow suit there. It's just starting to emerge out of this cup with handle pattern here. So that one still looks good to me. Will show up on our ready list. What else do I have? Oh yeah, the drug stocks, Lilly, is benefiting from the, wow, it's up 4% now, $25, benefiting from the news from Novo Nordisk that they had stopped the trial because their drug was looking efficient in renal kidney failure. So those drugs are going to be used for more than just weight loss and diabetes. And so this is Mounjaro. Their drug is Mounjaro, and these drugs are being touted as the the next big blockbuster drug, like a Lipitor or the birth control pill by Syntax, which had massive runs. So Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly both looking strong. I'm going to save Novo for later because I want to talk a little bit about that one. The electrical contracting manufacturing stocks are making new highs as well. This one just will not stop. This is Jabil, and up another 2.75% today. And then FN, Fabrinet, wow, having an inside day today, up 1.16%. That one looks good. Duolingo made a new high today. This one has been on our list, but it's got to be taken off now. It's getting a little extended. Glad to see it pull back 1.76%. So it made a new high and pulled back, and it's at 11% of its daily range. So it needed to pull back. You don't want them just going straight to the sky. Those are the ones that crash and burn. This is Constellation Energy. There was a spinoff from Exelon, an alternative energy stock, making a new high today. God, I remember I had this on the watch list a long time ago, and I just completely forgot about it. Never bought it. Yeah, it's up 4% this week. That's a good looking IPO stock right there. And then ACMR is a semiconductor equipment stock making a new high today. You could see this base on base pattern, then it ripped higher, pulled back to the 50 for the first time after the breakout, and is really screaming higher now, over $20. So good for ACMR. NTNX is another one that we had on our watch list, and this one's ramping higher today, almost 6% move. Nice move, and that's at the top of its daily range, 96%, which is what you like to see. And I'm going to stop there. I'll be back in the morning, and I will have a ready watch list. But I do have one more thing. I mentioned in honor of Steve Jobs, I will talk about NVO because it had the news this morning. And you could see that it broke out of this long flat base period consolidation, and it ramped up here 17%. So you don't want to ignore those moves, right? But it pulled back to its 50 SMA for the first time since breaking out. Those have a high rate of success. And today, it found support and now has bounced sharply with a nice gap higher. It's 80% of its daily range. You can see the big volume coming in today, 162% above average daily volume. So Novo Nordisk looks good to me. They're going to have earnings here November 2nd, the best day on the calendar. And I wanted to just point out the I don't day trade anymore, but I was watching this for a day trade today because this is how I would have traded this. Is you look at the first bar. I mentioned that the first 30 minutes, 60 minutes, you usually get a daily range. It makes a high and a low, and then from there you just kind of observe. It made this high of 96.61 and a low of 95.02. So that's pretty much your range, for the first hour or whatever. So I would just put a buy at like 96.65 or something like that, 96.70 when it clears it. And then it cleared it right there. So it would have triggered a buy. And then the stop would be below that 95.02. You don't want them going lower and trying to fill that gap. But a stock with news, with big volume coming in is, probably going to attract some buyers. So you get some buyers at the open, you get some sellers, some profit takers, and then it starts ramping higher. And if you're just a day trader, I just look for 1 or 2%, a couple of bucks here on a $90 stock. And that would be fine. I probably would have sold it on one of these spikes and not let it come back. But you know, if you're a long-term holder like I am, this thing is just making another day at the office for this thing. But that's how I like to day trade. That's how I used to day trade. I do not do this anymore. Very rarely. This one was pretty easy today. I was watching it with the big volume coming in and with the big news. You figured it was going to attract some buyers. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. We're going to have a happy flight, and I'll be with you tomorrow morning with a pre-market update from Silicon Valley. And we never give up.